Welcome to Creamer Media's Polity. I'm Brad Doubleman. I'm in Randburg to meet with political analyst Aubrey Matshiqi to discuss the upcoming local government elections. Aubrey, where and between who are we most likely to see the most fierce election battles?
There are two contests I'll be watching out for. There's the contest between the Democratic Alliance and the ANC, and this will take place in two places, in the Western Cape in general and Cape Town in particular. And in Gauteng, you are going to see a fierce contest between the DA and the ANC in the Midvaal, where the DA is currently in control. And the ANC will be making an attempt to wrest control away from the DA. In KwaZulu-Natal, there's a three-way contest between the ANC, the National Freedom Party, and the Inkatha Freedom Party. North of Uthugela River, that is in northern KwaZulu-Natal, you are going to see a fierce contest between the National Freedom Party and the Inkatha Freedom Party. I think KwaZulu-Natal as a whole will go ANC. The National Freedom Party will split the IFP vote. Some of that vote will go to the National Freedom Party, and another part of that vote will go to the ANC.
Please explain the dynamics between the ANC and the IFP rivalry. Are we likely to see this spill over into any other areas?
Well, traditionally, you have seen the ANC controlling areas south of Uthugela River and the IFP controlling areas north of Uthugela River. But since 1999, the ANC has been succeeding in making inroads north of Uthugela, while the IFP has not been able to make inroads south of Uthugela. But as of the 2009 elections, we saw a very major swing away from the IFP to the ANC for two reasons. Firstly, because of the Jacob Zuma factor, which benefited the ANC a lot, and secondly, because of internal strife within the IFP. The added problem now for the IFP is the emergence of the National Freedom Party. The possibility is that, especially if our security forces are not alert, is that the contest between the IFP and the NFP might become violent. So one hopes that the post-apartheid government, unlike the apartheid government, has a much higher appetite for rooting out political violence.
How do you think the Democratic Alliance will fare, especially among black voters?
Well, I still think there will be more black voters in DA election adverts than in the election. So while the DA, since 1999, through its re-envisioning exercise, has made inroads in black townships and has grown considerably in black townships between 1999 and now, we must remember that they have been growing from a very low base and therefore are highly unlikely to make a huge dent on electoral support for the ANC amongst black voters.
You say in your column that the statistic to watch is the voter turnout. Please explain.
Well, the outcome is almost certain that the ANC will win most of the municipalities. But the figure we must look at is voter turnout, because we must check the number of ANC supporters who will bother to go and vote on the day. If the so-called service delivery protests are anything to go by, and the protests against ANC candidate lists are anything to go by, we are likely to see the voter turnout falling below 48% in May. And if it does, what we will have to check then is how much of that fall directly affects the ANC. Now, if that trend continues, if I'm correct and that trend continues into future elections, the ANC will win majorities, but with a loss of support within its supporter base, not translating into a swing to other political parties, but with people just sitting at home and not bothering to vote. In some ways, when people sit at home, that is worse than people voting another party, because you will win the majority of votes with less legitimacy than was the case in the past.
Donate now and give 15 Rand a month. SMS JOIN to 41486.